What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Koala Gardens and to this special video because this video is being premiered, and that means there's a whole bunch of us that are in a live YouTube chat and we get to talk along as we watch through this video together. Now, this video is going to be a lot of fun because it's a compilation of the 30 Fun Koala Facts that I released for September to celebrate Save the Koala Month, and the 30 drawings that one of my amazing supporters, Sean Sack, did. What Sean decided to do was, in order to help promote people thinking about koalas during September, he drew a koala every single day. And when we get to the first of those drawings, I'll tell you a little bit about what it means to say he drew a koala every day. So, are you ready? Shall we get into it? We've got koala facts, we've got koala video and photos, and we've got Sean's gorgeous drawings. So, let's go save the koala September with lots of great stuff to see and talk about in the live chat together. Fun fact number one about koalas is that while they are as cute as a teddy bear, they are not even a little bit related to bears. Well, I guess except that they're both mammals. Now, did you know that nearly every native mammal in Australia is actually a marsupial? Do you know what a marsupial means? That's something we're going to investigate as we move through our fun facts. Lots of us know another common marsupial in Australia. This one is the redneck wallaby. Now let's have a look at the first of Sean's drawings, and we'll look at this one a little bit longer because I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Sean has been doing is he has taken a photo of a koala from Koala Gardens, and he has then on his computer made a drawing of that koala. Now, we've actually been watching Sean on Discord over the past couple of years, and his drawing is becoming quite phenomenal. I'd love you to come and join us on Discord. We do lots of fun things there, as well as have lots of really interesting and in-depth koala discussions on all kinds of topics. And this very first koala drawing that Sean did for the month is the gorgeous Eddie, son of Ellie. What a fantastic job he does. You wait till you see them unfold over the course of this video. And fact number 2, I love this one. All the First Nations people in Australia have a name for koala that means something about the fact that they don't really drink water. But because there are hundreds of languages, there are actually hundreds of names for the koala. I live on Bundjalung land, and the name for the koala here is Burrabi. I love that name. Some of the other names are Kolo, Kolu, Kula, Kola, Kubo, Kula, and Keola. Interesting, isn't it? Not all of them sound like the Bundjalung word for koala here. When you look at this map of Australia, you get a bit of an idea of just how many nations and peoples were settled in Australia before it was invaded by white man. And now we get the second drawing by Sean, our gorgeous Ellie. Look at how well he's depicted her huge ears. This fun fact is maybe not as much fun. So around 250 or so years ago, there were huge, dense forests covering the east coast of Australia, made up of trees 30, 40, even more metres in height. The canopies of these amazing forests just were teeming with millions and millions of koalas. They tended that dense canopy by eating huge amounts of leaf, which reduced the fire risk for the forest. Can you even begin to imagine seeing koalas in such numbers? Now, so the forests that you've just been looking at as I've been talking are existing forests here in Australia, but the trees that are making up these forests here are not necessarily koala habitat. I took these photos from a plane flying from Sydney back up to the north coast in July. The only times we really see this amount of koalas in a tree now, of course, is when they're captive koalas, either in zoos or under rehabilitation. Let's go to the next gorgeous illustration that Sean's created. Now we've got the gorgeous Orion. So this photo that I took was when Orion was first brought home and in the kindy, because you can just see the tag in his ear, and just look at the detail that Sean has captured of the textures and the colours of the fur in this drawing. I particularly love this one, but let me tell you, there are lots of amazing ones. And this is one of my favourite facts. I just have, from early childhood, I have been amazed by this fact. Fun fact number 4. At the time of being born, a baby koala is about the size of a jelly bean. And you know what? They look a bit like a pink jelly bean as well. Marsupials are just marvellously amazing. Instead of a long pregnancy where an umbilical cord develops to support the fetus, the tiny little pink joey is born after just 35 days. Now, if you look at these illustrations that I made, that's the size of a joey against a jelly bean. And that illustration is one that I've drawn, and that represents Joey inside the pouch, fused to mum's teat and drinking milk. Now, if we were to look at a human embryo at around the time that the umbilical cord develops and that embryo becomes a fetus, they're also about the size of a jelly bean. So you can see some mammalian similarities that are happening here when you see the stage Joey is at when it's born, and instead of that umbilical cord, Joey is basically drip fed very rich milk from mum directly into their mouth, and nurtured and kept warm and safe inside a pouch. Like, really, how amazing is that? It is just like ridiculously amazing. The next drawing by Sean is our gorgeous, huge, big mama pearl. Again, look at the detail in his drawing, and he's learning so well to capture the differences that make each of our koalas an individual. All of the video that I release on YouTube is totally free because I'm passionate about sharing information about koalas to help people care. But there's lots of ways that you can get involved if you wish to. And one of the ways is Patreon, and I want to give a huge shout out to Carolyn Coburn, who switched to a yearly sponsorship just this month. Now what that means is, instead of paying a few dollars every month, she's paid a year's worth in advance. And I know that that really suits some people. I support other people on Patreon and prefer the annual subscription for my own budget too. You can also at any time use the super thanks button below, or if you're in live chat, you can use the super chat button and always throw a couple of dollars towards what I'm doing. But I'm really here to spread the word about koalas, and I willingly, voluntarily give hours and hours and hours of my time every week and spend money that I earn working a job to try and save our koalas, because they are absolutely worth it. Okay, fun fact number 5. I bet that you knew that kangaroo babies are called a joey and the koala baby. But did you know that joey is the name that we use for all babies of all marsupials? It's kind of like all dog babies are puppies and all feline babies are kittens. Well, marsupial babies are joeys. So that means that all joeys are born as little jelly beans and develop inside a mum's pouch drinking milk. Fascinating, isn't it? Now let's have a look at what Sean drew for the 5th day of the month, and it's our gorgeous Hope. Look at how well he got Hope's chubby little face sticking out between the fork of that tree and the long, sharp, curved claws. Fantastic work, Sean. Fact number 6. So that little pink jelly bean grows quite rapidly inside Mum's pouch. At first, the teat has swollen so much that Joey can't even let go, which means Joey can't lose hold of that teat or fall out of the pouch. But as Joey grows and develops fur, eyes, ears, and even strength, Joey reaches a stage where they can let go of the teat and wriggle about and then find the teat again. Now, Joey lives this way for around 6 months, never fully coming out, but sometimes they do peek out, or we see hands or feet or little faces hanging out, but they stay in there quite safe and secure for that 6 months. And the fabulous drawing by Sean for this day is Grace. And Grace is a great one to show while we're talking about all of these things, because Grace is 3rd generation born on the property, and we all watched her emerge from the pouch and grow up. What a fabulous experience that was. Fact number 7 is one of the hugest miracles of nature and koalas, which is that because koalas live high up in the trees, in order for Joey to get the beneficial bacteria they need to be able to begin starting to eat and digest those tough eucalyptus leaves for the first time, Mum produces a special gooey mixture called pap. Now, that's full of all of these bacteria, and it actually comes directly from her cecum down to Joey. So it's not quite actual koala poo, it's a porridgey substance. You can see in these images Joey hanging their head out of the pouch in order to be able to eat some pap. It is honestly the most amazing thing to see. And I love that the next koala Sean drew is Phoenix, because Phoenix is the mum of Grace. So it's lovely to see them come in one after the other. And again, the wonderful way Sean has depicted the differences in each koala with his drawing. We have a few different names that we give to koala young depending on the stage they're at. So they start as being a pinky, and then as they get fur they become pouch young. When they first come out and spend most of their time sitting in mum's lap, we call them front young. But then they begin to ride on mum's back, and we call them back young. They can do that for up to a year after they have been born, which is, up to 6 months after coming out of the pouch. Depends on how quickly and how well they grow as to when mum starts to say, yeah, no, you are just big enough, thank you very much. At the time that they're back riding though, they are still drinking some milk from mum. So weaning is kind of a process just like it is for most other animals. You can see here that is Hope having a drink from mum's pouch. Even though he's way too big to fit in the pouch, he's even too big to really be being carried on her back very much. But he does still, at this stage, have some little drinks of milk. Now, that Joey is wriggling about in the pouch, and it does not look comfortable, does it? And the next gorgeous drawing from Sean is our beautiful boy Valentine, the big chunky boy. I mean, he basically has no neck now, doesn't he? He's so big. And I do believe that he has established himself as the alpha on the property. Amazing fun fact number 9 is that koalas can analyse the composition of every leaf through their amazing sense of smell and taste. They do it mostly through their nose, but the ridges on their tongues and hard palate increase the surface area, assisting them to collect all the information that they need. We call these ridges rugae. The leaves contain a lot of tannin, and this stains the koala's teeth quite black, and you don't have to worry when you see black on the teeth of a koala. It's perfectly normal. The next fantastic drawing by Sean is our gorgeous Wattle. I love that photo of Wattle, the way he's wedged in that tree, and we can just see that posture beautifully, can't we? This fun fact is fascinating, really. So primates include us, monkeys, apes, lemurs, a few other animals, but one of the features of primates are that they have unique fingerprints. Only primates have this. Oh, and koalas. One of the other interesting features that primates share with koalas is that we have front-facing eyes and a clavicle setup. So that's a collarbone that is much the same. And that's why koalas appeal to people so much, because they really do look like a cute baby in so many ways. And look at this great drawing that Sean's done of our gorgeous iguane with those huge fluffy ears. And I bet every one of you already knew fun fact number 11, which is that koalas have 2 opposable thumbs on each hand. So they have 3 fingers and 2 thumbs, which means they still have 5 digits on their hands. These thumbs really assist them in climbing, as does another feature of the koala hand. With the 2 thumbs, they're able to achieve a stronger and more balanced grip on the wider trunks and even the thinner branches. I wonder if you know what the other hand feature is that helps make climbing easier. Next drawing by Sean is Olivia, who was here last year with a Joey and pouch. I sure wish we got to see her again. I wanted to see that Joey come out, you know. And now when we look at the koala foot, it's even more amazing because koalas also have 1 thumb on each foot. So we could pretty much say that koalas are all thumbs because they've got 6 thumbs altogether, and this really gives them a big advantage in the treetops as they can hold onto the branches with their feet alone and use their hands to gather bunches of leaves to their mouth. Notice that the foot thumb is the only digit on the koala that has no claw. Just look at how the thumbs on those feet allow Grace, that was Grace when she was a little tiny one, to grip those branches while she feeds. And the next drawing from Sean is Hudson, who was one of the Hugo lookalikes. We're quite certain that Hugo and Hudson must have been related to each other. They had so many similar features. Now, as well as that amazing thumb, the next two digits are fused together. The skin covers them both, so they have the bones of two toes and they have two claws at the end, but the skin covers them as though they're one. Now those two claws, they make a handy dandy grooming tool that koalas use all the time. They spend a lot of time combing through their fur with this tool. Often people think they're scratching, and at times they are, but quite often they are also just simply grooming. You can really clearly see that fused second and third toe in this photo. And now we have a beautiful drawing that Sean's done of June. Now this was the very first time I ever saw June, and I immediately saw that gorgeous pouch bulge, and he's made sure that that's very clear in the drawing he's done too. And of course, the other amazing feature of koala hands and feet that help them climb are those claws. They are awesome, aren't they? Besides the two thumbs, those claws give them that advantage of being able to dig into the bark of the trees, and they stay out like that all the time, so they don't retract like, for example, feline claws do. They stay sharp all their life, and they're mostly used for climbing, but they do make an effective weapon if they have to defend themselves. You can see the marks on this forest red gum that are left by koala claws. So some of them are dotty marks where the claws just grab at the tree, and some are long scratches where the claws have been scratching in the motion of a koala climbing. And the next fantastic drawing we have is Ash. I still see Ash now and then, so he is around. I love that pale of fur that he's got. He's a beauty. We use a word to describe animals that live in the treetops, and that word is arboreal. So koalas are arboreal, and this is why protecting their habitat is so critical. The trees are everything to the koala. It's their shelter, their place of safety, and their food source. Without forests, not just the odd tree, but without forests, koalas have to move along the ground, and when they have to do that, they are at their most vulnerable to so many kinds of dangers. And our next drawing is Bobby. What I loved about Sean doing this too was it really showcased how many different koalas over only the last couple of years have either lived on or moved through Koala Gardens. That habitat connectivity is so critical. Fun fact number 16. While those amazing hands and feet help the koala grip and get a hold of leaf, did you know that it's actually the koala arms that do way more work than their legs when it comes to climbing? A healthy koala has large arms and super strong shoulders, and they use those arms to propel themselves up the trunk. Their legs really just give stability and a little bit extra push. And the next drawing of Sean is Emma. You might remember Emma last year, who came and raised her gorgeous Joey Shine on the property. I wonder how they're doing this year. Quite often to the onlooker front down from the ground, it can look quite difficult and even dangerous when you see a koala suddenly leap meters across from branch to branch. But it actually takes less energy to leap across a metre or two than it does to climb down 10, 15 or more metres and then all the way back up again. Koalas are very good at calculating distance and angles in the treetops, and they are very well suited to taking flying leaps through the treetops. And don't we love it when we get to see them actually doing it? Here we go. Yes. Let's watch that one again in slow motion. I love slow-mo. Totally fitting that the next drawing Sean did was of Emma and Shine together. So we had Emma alone on the last one, and now we've got gorgeous Shine sitting in front of her, being held safely in the trees. And fun fact number 18. It's a good number for it because 18 or more hours is the amount of time a koala spends sleeping or at least resting with their eyes closed every day. They don't always sleep really deeply, often they're just snoozing. Now, koalas are considered nocturnal, but really their awake and sleep times each day are dictated by their stomachs. Whenever it's time that they need to eat the next meal, they'll wake up and they'll do that, whether it's at 2 o'clock in the morning and it's pitch dark, or whether it's at 11 o'clock in the morning and the sun's shining brightly. It does mean that when out koala spotting, most of the time that I'm out there or anyone else, we're seeing sleeping koalas, not wildly active ones. So whenever I bring you video of koalas active doing amazing things, that took me a lot of work and a lot of time to catch them awake. Sean has done an amazing job on capturing the essence of Jessie in this particular drawing. I'm sure a lot of you remember our Houdini Jessie. What a great result this drawing is. Fun fact number 19, and I still don't know how they get comfortable doing this, but that hard pad of cartilage across their lower back is kind of like carrying a seat with you wherever you go. When they rest in a tree, you'll notice that they tend most of the time to kind of sit and then roll back a little to sit on that pad. Their closest cousin is the wombat, and the wombat has this feature too. They are the only two animals that have this cartilage pad feature. However, the wombat uses theirs for a totally different reason. I wonder if any of you know what that reason is. And that is a wombat cartilage pad. Another fantastic drawing by Sean, and this time it's the lovely little Luna. Luna is the older sister of Grace, so Luna was Phoenix's first Joey. The sinus cavities on the koala are really amazing, and this gives us our fun fact number 20. They extend up above the nose, between the eyes, up into the back of the head. And this allows the koala to use their nose like a chemical laboratory, testing the makeup of every leaf. Now, eucalyptols are the poisonous substance that's in the eucalyptus leaves, and it would kill us and nearly every other mammal if we were to eat them. Another amazing thing about those big sinus cavities is that helps them when they bellow to make that resonating sort of noise. Now, the eucalyptol content of leaves can change during different weather conditions, seasons, soil conditions, and even the genetic makeups of individual trees. So koalas are always smelling and checking before they eat, even when they know a tree already. This is a good one. Do any of you remember Rocket? I only ever saw him here on the property a couple of times, but what a handsome juvenile he is. That drawing by Sean is fantastic. Haha, fun fact number 21, those boys. They have this gland in the middle of their chest, and it produces a sticky, oily secretion that stains the area brown over time. It has a musky smell that is quite unique to koalas. The koala rubs its chest onto the tree trunks, leaving an oily stamp of ownership. And this stamp tells every other koala that comes near many things about the koala that left it, including how big they are, how often they come here, and when they were last here. It also contains pheromones that give a host of extra information beyond anything we can detect. Koalas recognize the smell of individual koalas that they know, and the bigger and stronger the alpha male koala is, the stronger the smell and the more pheromone information there is in that oil, and the longer it actually lasts when they rub it on the trees. They can also tell how old the smell is, and so they know if that koala was just here today rubbing that oil on, or if it's weeks old. Sean has used one of my all-time favourite photos to create this drawing. That is Hope peeking out over the top of Pearl's head. I love it when koalas do their little totem poles. Fun fact number 22, as well as that smelly, oily scent marking that koalas use to mark the trees all around the property, they also bellow to mark their territory and announce their presence. The sound is rather amazing, and you can hear it now while I'm talking. That's a recording of Bullet actually bellowing on the property at night. They throw their head back and just bellow out, and it reverberates through the area. Any of us Aussies that live on koala land, we just, hear that as another of the usual sounds of the bush. But to people new to Australia, it's quite daunting. How good is this drawing that Sean's done of June's Joey? So we haven't named June's Joey yet. We're still waiting for that reveal of is this Joey a girl or a boy. But that's not going to stop Sean from getting in and starting to draw this one. Okay, do you know how many leaves you could stuff into a tote bag that you take shopping? Koalas eat hundreds and hundreds of eucalyptus leaves every single day. They literally have to just stuff themselves full because there's not a lot of nutrition and there's very little calorie in these koala leaves. So they spend about an hour just munching leaves down and then off to sleep again. It's really quite a huge job even for them to eat that many leaves, and it wears them out. Sometimes when I'm watching and filming them eat, it makes my jaw hurt just at the thought of how much chewing they need to do. And now we've got that beautiful pair, Julie and Jojo. I only ever saw them a few times this year, so I'm not sure why Julie was moving through the area with her Joey, possibly looking for somewhere to settle that Joey. You know, I still get asked about this at times, but I can guarantee you've heard it stated here clearly now, it is a myth that koalas get drunk on the eucalyptus leaves. I mean, I know that sometimes they sure look like they've passed out drunk in the trees. They certainly sleep in some of the strangest positions, but the leaves don't contain any kind of alcohol or any kind of narcotic. So by the time they fill their stomach as much as they possibly can, they drape themselves in the branches to stay stable and sleep deeply in order to aid the digestion of those tough leaves. And of course, what would a month of drawing be if we didn't have Ellie and her Joey? That's Eddie sitting in Ellie's lap. We haven't seen that much yet of the new Joey in her pouch this year. Koala digestion is indeed a fun fact because it is just amazing. As well as they have a stomach that's just like ours, an intestine setup that's just like ours, most of the digestion actually happens in a whopping 2-meter long cecum. So we've got a tiny little one, but it's a bit like the way horses digest food. So we call these a hind gut digester. And the cecum in the koala and animals like a horse are filled with billions of special bacteria that break the leaves down so that they can get in to digest the nutrients that are inside. No wonder a healthy koala has such a big round belly. They're not fat. They've got an extra 2 meters of digesting organs inside there. So you can see it here in these diagrams how different their setup is. Because we don't even use the cecum, it's called an appendix for us. And you can see in that diagram how teeny tiny it is compared to this one, which is the koala's cecum with all the other internal organs. And now we get to see this gorgeous drawing that Sean has done, this time of Orion. There was a breeze blowing and you can see the hair on his ears kind of blowing across to the right side. And that brings us to fact number 26, and we've been talking about this as we've led up to this, that koalas need to sleep and nap so that they can actually digest those tough leaves. So the calories are what we use to burn up to have energy. Koalas have to conserve energy as much as possible because the eucalyptus leaves are so low in calories. And we've got Hugo, that beautiful profile of such a male Roman nose on a beautiful big male head. Great drawing, Sean. Fact number 27 is an important one about how koalas cool down. So they have a really wonderfully thick coat that insulates them. So it protects them a lot from the hot summer sun. And when it gets too hot, they drape themselves on thick branches or sit upright and hug the big tree trunks. Now, tree trunks are amazingly cool, and while their bellies cool down, that thick fur coat holds that coolness in. Koalas don't ever go and seek shelter. They just stay in the trees all the time, which is, again, brings us back to them being arboreal. They use their thick waterproof insulating coat to protect them, and even when there's a storm, they just curl up in a ball and sleep it out. Now, the next time you're outside on a hot day, I challenge you, go up to any big tree and put your palm against the trunk and just see how cool the trunk of that tree is. You'll be amazed. And now Sean's drawn Matilda. I mean, that drawing almost looks like a photo. That is one amazing drawing copy of this photo, isn't it? A lot of people don't realise this fun fact number 28, which is that koalas carry no body fat. So they really do need that incredibly thick insulating coat. It allows them to sleep in all kinds of weather without getting cold and without even burning up too many calories in order to stay warm, because the water doesn't even soak through. It just runs off their backs and only soaks the very outer part. It's amazing when you actually watch a koala wake up after it rains. They shake themselves a few times really well, get up in the trees and start eating, and within 20 minutes they look almost completely dry again. Another fantastic drawing. I really love the way Sean is able to use the colours to create the contours and sort of variations in the koala coat, because their coats are really quite amazing. This is not a fun fact at all, I'm afraid, this one. Last year in 2022, the government amended the koalas' extinction rating, went from vulnerable to endangered, which means they're closer to extinction than ever. So no matter all of the things that we're doing, and we are doing a lot here in Australia, believe me, we are losing more koalas to the destruction of their habitat crisis than ever. We're not giving up, we're not stopping. Koala Gardens is adamantly dedicated to working with other private landowners, community members, children, schools and government departments to turn this around and see koalas have the habitat they deserve as a sentient being that was here first. I mean, we are on their land. They own this country, not us. It's just that they have no voice. Another fantastic drawing, and I love the way Sean was able to capture Bullet's unique nose pattern in this drawing. Beautiful job. And here we are, fact number 30. Again, not a real fun fact. If we can't save the cutest animal in the world, what's going to happen to the rest? Koalas truly are the most amazing and beautifully unique animal. It is critical that no more trees are cut down. Planting trees is not the answer. Of course we need to plant trees, but it's not the answer. We have to stop destroying the habitat now. Doing billions of dollars of research is not the answer. Guess what? We already know that we have to stop cutting down the trees and start providing habitat for the koalas. We don't need more research to tell us that. Building hospitals for koalas is not the answer. Now, as you know, I volunteer with a koala hospital. I'm not saying we don't need koala hospitals. I am simply saying koala hospitals will not save the koala. There is only one answer that addresses the cause of the problem, and that's what we have to do. Old growth trees must be protected. Otherwise, we are just wasting all of our time and money with all of these other activities. And I'm sorry, but the government uses a lot of smoke and mirrors to make it look like they are doing all kinds of things to help save the koala. But guess what? They are allowing their habitat to be destroyed every single day. So they are lying to you all, and anyone who gets excited when they see cute photos of people holding koalas and treating them and doing things for them are actually being lied to and are fooling themselves that that is the answer. We must see more land being given back to our wildlife, to creating forests, and it's not just for the koalas, it's for all of the other wildlife here in Australia, and it's for the planet. Wake up, everybody. If we lose our forests, we lose our planet, and we lose in the end. Mother Nature will win out, but there may be no koalas, and there may not even be any humans. And on that happy note, guess what? You have made it to the end of yet another Koala Gardens video. I have been thrilled to create this video, and another huge thank you to Sean for the beautiful work that he has done. Let's look at his last image as we close out. Thank you to everyone who's attended this premiere in chat. It's been fantastic watching this with you all. What a great experience that has been. And while we're looking at Sean's last image, would you make sure you've smashed that like button and write in the comments below, not in the live chat, but when we finish, write in the comments below, stop cutting their trees. There's lots more great video coming up. I've got gorgeous Joey activity happening on the property. So make sure you've hit that notification bell when you've subscribed, and I'll look forward to bringing more to you. Another way that you can help the work that I'm doing to try and save koalas is if you're looking for anything that you might need or a gift for someone, hop over to my Redbubble shop and just check out all the designs on all the different types of items.